Welcome back. In this lecture, we'll try to understand the next preferential decision making theory, the next game theory, prisoner's dilemma. Prisoner's dilemma. What is prisoner's dilemma? Prisoner's dilemma is basically about it is basically about lack lack of sufficient information and presence of trust deficit. You either do not trust the other person or there is lack of sufficient information about the other person. When there is lack of sufficient information, when there is trust deficit, you do not go for best case scenario. You just try to avoid worst. You do not go for best case scenario. You just try to avoid worst. You just try to avoid worst, right? To understand prisoner's dilemma, I have to make you understand what is the dilemma itself. What is the dilemma itself? So the theory is about robbery, right? There is a robbery which happens in a town. The two-person are held in suspicion. One is Shah Rukh, other is Salman. Police take Shah Rukh and Salman away in the custody in the police station and and keep them in different cells, right? Police police station has two cells. In one cell there is Shah Rukh, in other cell there is Salman. A police officer goes in both the cells and tells Shah Rukh and Salman what is the situation going to be. He tells Shah Rukh or Salman, Shah Rukh and Salman both in different cells that if if you accept if you accept and if you cooperate with me that you have done the robbery, you will get 1 year sentence. But the catch here is other person also have to cooperate. If both of you cooperate, if both of you cooperate and accept that you have done robbery, then you will both of you get 1 year jail, right? Cooperation leads to 1 year jail for both. Then he continues, right? Both of them get happy that let's cooperate because it is the best case scenario. Then he continues. He says that if either of you cooperate and other one does not, right? If if Shah Rukh cooperates and Salman says no, I have not done robbery. Shah Rukh says I have done robbery. Salman says I have not done robbery. Salman will get 0 years as sentence because of course the thief is caught. It is Shah Rukh. She has accepted it, and the vice versa. If Shah Rukh says I have not done robbery, Salman says okay I will cooperate, then Salman will get 5 years in jail, right? But the third catch is there. First catch is on cooperation, what happens? Second catch is if one cooperates and other betrays, what happens? And the third catch is if both of them say that we have not done robbery, I have not done robbery, then each of them will get 3 years each, right? So how this model is, right? How this model is, I will make you understand by a matrix. There is outcome B, right? No, not Shahrukh Salman, but we'll do A and B. Cooperation, B cooperates, B betrays, A cooperates, A betrays. Right? As police says, if both of you accept that you have done robbery, both of you will get 1 year in prison. Best case scenario. Not the best case scenario, but still a good scenario. Then policeman continues, if if B cooperates that yes, I have done robbery, and A says I have not done robbery, then all the sentence will lie with B. That A will get 0 years in prison because of course thief is caught, and B will get 5 years in prison. If A cooperates and B betrays, then B will get 5 years in prison. A will get 5 years in prison. B will get 0 year in prison. He will be absolved of the crime. If both of them do not accept and both of them betray each other, then both of will get 3 years in prison. Right? So in cooperation, what are the outcomes? Either you get in cooperation, you get 1 year in prison, or you get 5 years in prison. Right? This is on cooperation. If you betray, you get 0 years in prison, or you get 3 years in prison. Right? If you opt for the best case scenario, the best case scenario is good, but the worst case scenario is not really acceptable. If you choose to betray, the best case scenario is the best there is, and the worst case scenario is not so bad. It is not so bad. So it makes sense to betray to avoid the worst and minimize the losses. So what are the learnings here? When in information insufficiency, go for go for avoiding the worst. When in information asymmetry, insufficiency, go for avoiding the worst. When when there is not sufficient reliable information, when there is trust deficit, go for avoiding the worst. It is always better to betray than to cooperate. Right? This model, when we apply to political science or international relations, what happens? Right? The first thing happens that people or states, not people but states, are in security dilemma. Everywhere states are in security dilemma. We will understand the prisoner's dilemma with respect to South Asia particularly, but states are in security dilemma. States don't have all the information to themselves. Right? So the situation of states in international politics are like these two prisoners. They don't have States do not have all the information, and acting on that information becomes really hard. Right? Even if there is sufficient information, the acting is not really there. So situation of states in international politics are like those two prisoners, where there is trust deficit and information asymmetry or information insufficiency. Right? Right? Due to sufficient due to lack of sufficient reliable information, states go for avoiding the worst. States go for avoiding the worst. Right? States avoid states avoid worst, and do not go for best possible outcome. State just want to avoid the worst. If you remember Rawls and his minimax strategy, that is minimizing disadvantages if any, maximizing advantages if any. It is like that. Minimizing disadvantages if any, maximizing advantages if any. This is the idea. In information asymmetry, you go for avoiding the worst possible situation, right? You can apply this game theory in South Asia. In South Asia, I will make a small diagram of South Asia. Oh, sorry. Arey, this is a very bad diagram, but yes, okay, this is what it is. What it is. This is India. This is Pakistan. This is China. This is Bangladesh. This is Myanmar. This is Sri Lanka. This is Maldives. Right? Two nations have nuclear power here. India has nuclear power. Pakistan has nuclear power. Right? India and Pakistan has nuclear power. How this nuclear power come into being? Right? We can analyze the proliferation of nuclear armament in South Asia through prisoners dilemma. Right? India from the start, from 1947, India is advocate of nuclear disarmament. India does not want nuclear weapon with anyone else, right? With anyone, not anyone else, but with anyone. India just want nuclear free world from 1947, right? So what happens? What happens after 1947? That Hiroshima Nagasaki happens. Nehru gets really agitated by it. Nehru says that this is a very strong weapon in the hands of man, which is very fickle, right? And after saying this, Nehru starts nuclear power plant in India. Right, starting a nuclear power plant in India will raise a suspicion in Pakistan that why there is nuclear power plant in India. Pakistani have also seen Nagasaki and Hiroshima. They have also seen effects of hydrogen bomb in Russia, right? And then Nehru starts with nuclear civil use of nuclear energy, right? When you start civil use of nuclear energy, your neighbors who is mortal enemy of you is going to get really agitated by it. Is going to get really is going to get right shell shocked by it, right? Because they have seen how nuclear right what nuclear weapon can do. Then in 1971, Bangladesh liberation war happens. Bangladesh get liberated, and and there is this news. There is this news. Bangladesh get liberated, but India also gets in pressure of USSA. USA. There is that warship is there. Warship comes in. US warship comes in Bay of Bengal. There is pressure from US as well. So Indira Gandhi ma'am thinks, and Indira Gandhi ma'am realizes that Pakistan might be developing nuclear weapons. So Indira Gandhi gets really agitated by it, or I'm using agitated again and again, but I'm not able to understand. I'm not able to give any other word. So Indira Gandhi gets to trust deficit. If Pakistan develops nuclear weapon, what will happen with India and Indians, right? So what Indira Gandhi does? What Indira Gandhi does that she advances with Pokhran test. She advances with Pokhran test. In 1974, Operation Smiling Buddha happens, and she says to the world that we have nuclear capability now. Pakistan realizes that we have fallen behind. Right? We have fallen behind. Pakistan realizes that, And Pakistani Prime Minister of that time, Pakistani President of that time says that even if we have to live on the grass, we will develop nuclear weapons because India has, right? Pakistan has trust deficit. India has nuclear weapon. India did not develop nuclear weapon till that time. India just shown capability that we can develop, but Pakistan got fearful. If India develops, what is going to happen? Right? This is the background. This is the background. Another background is that both nations are poor. When that Pakistani Prime Minister says, if I'm not wrong, if Zia ul Haq says, if Zia ul Haq says that it is okay that we are going to eat grass, but we want to have nuclear weapon. Is it really needed? Is it really needed? It is not. What Pakistani people needed of that time was was development. They did not need nuclear warheads. They needed development. So what is the best case scenario? What was the best case scenario for South Asia? It was it was cooperation. It was development. It was peace. There was no place of nuclear weapons in India or in Pakistan or South Asia. What is the worst case scenario? Worst case scenario is that India or Pakistan develops nuclear weapon first. India develops nuclear weapon first. Pakistan is at loss. It has fear. It has security dilemma of when India is going to use that nuclear weapon. Right? So both India and Pakistan start developing nuclear weapons. On Indian side, it was APJ Abdul Kalam, and on Pakistani side, it was AQ Khan. Both are legends in their respective countries, but I don't know what are the fallouts of their actions. Right? This is how nuclear proliferation in South Asia happened because of prisoners dilemma. Both were fearful that if one develops nuclear weapons, what will happen with me? Right? The best case scenario was to go for cooperation for development for peace, but you try to avoid worst. That is why you it is okay to develop nuclear weapons because you are 99% sure that other person is going to betray me. This is the idea behind behind prisoner's dilemma. Lack of sufficient information leads you to avoid worst case scenario. I hope this helped. From the next lecture, we'll start with next preferential decision making theory, which is stag hunt prisoner's dilemma. I hope you understood prisoner's dilemma. Thank you so much.